Hello everyone, I am back taking a look at a new puzzle game called the Talos Principle 2. Now, like some people, I have a certain bias against puzzle games, and I want to be upfront about that. I will quickly confess that although I like to solve puzzles, I am not usually one that likes dedicated puzzle games enough to actually buy them. That said, I feel that the Talos Principle 2 offers enough other content beyond the puzzles that somehow all fits together into a package that made it worth it for me. If you want to find out what it is that is making me like the game so far, please go ahead and watch to the end of the video. Also, please take a moment to leave me a like, and if you like to watch these sorts of game impressions and reviews, please subscribe to my channel. Now, I've never played the original Talos Principle. I've been tempted to pick it up several times when it's been on a deep sale. I can't really tell you how it compares to the original, but on the other hand, I am able to give you a completely fresh-eyed view. Right now, my view is that this is turning out to be a really interesting game, and I think the main reason for that, aside from the puzzles being entertaining, is that it has a sort of a layered approach to progression. I'll come back to this as I go through my impressions, but let's just get acquainted with how the game works. So the idea is that hundreds of years ago, maybe thousands, a plague wiped out humanity. And during humanity's last few years, a small group of people developed a learning algorithm that was designed to build a consciousness based on human consciousness. Eventually, after some untold amount of time, the AI succeeds in creating a real sentient being, or a fully artificial intelligence, which it then births into a robot body. And with the help of that new companion, the original AI, which itself is not thought of as an actual sentient being, but more of a, like a modern day AI, I suppose, to some degree, it starts to produce more of these artificial humans. Now, these new humans decide that in order to lessen the impact on Earth, so as to not repeat the mistakes of the original humans, they're going to limit their population to 1,000 total beings or robots. And you are number 1,000. That's basically where the game starts. Now, that's what I would call the story layer of the game. It's revealed to you through dialogue, and I think the dialogue is voice acted very well. And as long as you're willing to suspend your disbelief long enough to take in what the story tells you at face value, I think it's enjoyable and interesting. I will warn you that there are a lot of character names and a lot of place names that are religious references to some degree.
Behold, child, you are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your friend, and I am called Elohim.
In my experience, the game doesn't overtly approach the subject of religion itself, but certainly you won't be able to not think about it given the names that you'll be hearing and reading. Also, there is a lot of metaphysical speculation, philosophical speculation, so if you're not into any of those subjects, this game might not be for you unless you absolutely love puzzles and you don't care what platform they're on. For me, after some initial trepidation, I found myself largely ignoring the metaphysical aspect of it. Now, your mileage may vary. I should also mention that you can completely skip conversations if all you want to do is solve puzzles. You do still need to sit through the mechanic of loading into various conversations and traveling between puzzles and whatnot. but cutscenes can be skipped, dialogue can be completely skipped. So overall, the story seems to be complex enough to be interesting, but too simple if you want to have all of your questions answered. The game primarily asks questions rather than provides answers. So the game begins by throwing some basic puzzles at you. That teaches you the basic mechanics that you're going to be working with. Once you get past these tutorial puzzles and the game throws you into your body, you have the opportunity at this point to interact with what's probably the second layer of the game, and that is all of the NPC interactions that you can do. And they're cats. Yes, cats have managed to domesticate these new humans somehow, and you'll find many of the robots wandering around in the city have cats, and they are absolutely happy to talk your ear off about them. Sadly, I did not find other types of pets. Maybe they exist, and I just haven't found them yet. But from what I can tell, you can completely ignore the conversational aspect of the game, or you can spend hours within it. All the dialogue that I have found so far is voice acted, and like I said before, it's the voice acting seems really good so far.
Today is completion day, isn't it? Sorry, I turned off all
You'll find that many of the NPCs have their own opinion about what's going on. You can even try to change their minds, either to form a consensus between all of the humans, or you know, to just try to make a particular viewpoint more popular.
give you a sense of meaning, a sense that
My understanding
worth living.
is that that can have an impact on the ending of the game, but as I'm not there yet, I don't want to talk too much about that. It's just simply what I've read.
Correct. But I've tried a lot.
And finally, let's talk about the puzzles. Once you reach the main portion of the game, you'll see that puzzles are divided into different islands. Each island, so far, has had a theme to their puzzles. I would expect that this pattern will continue into the other islands. Right now, there are 12 islands that you need to go through. Each island has 8 to 10 puzzles, plus a couple more puzzles. Let me explain. This is kind of where the puzzles themselves have layers. Because each island has the basic 8 puzzles that you need to complete in order to progress. And in addition, it has 2 extra puzzles that you can choose to solve, but you can completely ignore also. Now these 2 puzzles will act as, it will count toward the 8, so you could skip, well, you know, 2 of the 1 through 8 puzzles if you do the 2 additional puzzles. But it's kind of up to you how you do it. You can do them all, or just 8. Either way, the game does not care which 8 you do, as long as you've gotten 8 completed. It appears that once you solve enough of the extra puzzles, you may unlock these golden doors that are present on every island. I presume that the golden door will have its own set of puzzles because there's like an achievement for solving golden door puzzles. So, yeah. I presume those will be harder, but I have no way of knowing it right now. I have not yet unlocked any. Additionally, I found that so far each island has a couple of statues with puzzles that are also associated with them. So far, I have found statues and puzzles with the figures of Prometheus, Pandora, and the Sphinx, which all seem to figure into the story. When you solve these puzzles, you get awarded with stars or sparks. Stars can be released into a building at your base camp that your companions have speculated has to do with watching, you know, with astronomy. I don't know what happens when you release all of the stars, but you can see that, you know, as you progress, you can go in here and release what you have to fill in or to light up these little lights. Now, sparks can be spent on puzzles in order to skip them. If you skip a puzzle this way, it locks up the spark on the puzzle, and so you can't use that individual spark until you solve that puzzle. But you know, it will let you skip anything that you are getting stuck on if you want to. There's no penalty other than it'll use up a spark, and there's only a few. Like, there's not enough sparks to skip every puzzle, right? But it appears that there may be one spark per island that you can find, possibly more than that. Might be as many as 2 sparks. Not really sure yet. I have found a few. I feel like if you dedicate yourself to exploring the island, you are going to be able to solve the statue puzzles pretty easy, and you'll be able to get these sparks relatively easily. Whether you use them or not, I'm not sure. I have found if you can solve the initial set of puzzles, none of them have been super difficult. Beyond the initial puzzles and the extra puzzles and the statue puzzles that you can find, there's also a lab that is not exactly hidden, but it won't be advertised where the location is. And once you find it, that will reveal some more information about the story, and it will be basically checked off on the list of things to find for the island. As I mentioned, you have to solve a total of 8 puzzles per island to progress. Basically, solving the 8 puzzles will unlock access to a central building, like a giant building in the center or outskirts of your island. When you access that central building, it will cause a fire to, or it'll cause a laser to fire at a giant pyramid structure that's in the center of the island. You need 3 beams to hit each face of the pyramid. That will basically trigger a sequence where your crew goes into the pyramid, solves a few more puzzles to open another door, which then triggers more story, like another story mode. Each face of the pyramid that you unlock will basically unlock the next set of islands. So it feels like there's a lot of 3s involved. The islands are separated into sets of 3. For each 3 that you solve, you can go into the pyramid, solve a set of 3 puzzles to open a door, which will then allow you to move on to the next 3 islands, and so on. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. The bottom line is you solve a puzzle, you solve enough puzzles, the story progresses and allows you access to the next set of puzzles. If you get stuck on a puzzle, you can move on without any penalty other than you won't progress past the 3 islands set that you're on until you have completed enough puzzles on that island.
What we may be certain of is that he was made of bronze and had but one vein, within which flowed a liquid substance like
I personally found that doing the puzzles in order felt pretty good, as generally they build on each other. In a sense, each puzzle gives you context for solving subsequent puzzles. I found some of them I could solve immediately. A few of them I could solve after messing around with it for a little bit, figuring it out, usually pretty easy. And then there were a handful that I was just completely stuck on for a while. I had to walk away on 2 of these and just come back later to figure them out. But yeah, once I came back with a fresh mind, I was able to solve it pretty quick. So I would say the puzzles do a good job of always making you feel that you're one tool short of being able to solve it. and then you figure out how to solve it
The
anyways.
machine.
Usually you do that by dividing the puzzle into sort of portions, and you solve each portion of the puzzle in a particular order, and that basically allows you to move through the puzzle and reusing your tools in many cases in order to proceed to the final answer. Um, like you have to unlock door 1 to get to the key to door 3, but you have to use the lock that you used on door 2 to unlock door 3 also. That sort of thing, where you go back and forth a little bit. All in all, I have found the hours I spent with Talos Principle 2 to be very enjoyable. I look forward to getting the time to finish this one. I think this game will appeal to you if you enjoy solving spatial geometry problems alongside an interesting, if somewhat basic, narrative. You'll be further thrilled if you enjoy listening to and reading philosophical musings and metaphysical musings about humanity and consciousness, and it has a sprinkle of exploration thrown in for good measure. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please leave me a like and a subscribe if you haven't yet.
So,
Catch you on the next one.
humanity is great. I really believe that, and that's why I'm here. But I have to be honest with you, individual people, not always my favorite. I'm not the smartest guy ever, and I know that. But there are some people